Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the, I guess what are we calling this? At Wit End Podcast? At Wit's End Podcast?
Yeah, we got to name this baby. I don't know. For now, it's an At Wit's End Podcast. If you guys come up with a cooler idea, shoot it in the comments. Let us know what you think it should be.
For sure. I'm one of your hosts, Jalapenyobizz. I'm here always with Mad Melvin.
What's up, Mad Melvin?
What have you been doing? What have you been watching stuff? Have you been gaming more?
Yeah, man. So I started a Twitch stream. I'm starting up my Twitch channel. Obviously, I just play video games just to have fun, but it's pretty cool that you can kind of share that experience with people. So I'm doing that. Watching a lot of the new Netflix stuff that just came out for January 2020. Mm-hmm. So I'm having fun with that kind of cool stuff. The new season of You came out. That was
dope.
Awesome.
That was really good. I saw that. That was freaking awesome.
That was a good turn at the end on that one. No spoilers here. All right. Other than that, man, just kind of living life doing that stuff. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much same. I just watched the Kevin Hart documentary on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Quite good. Like, I guess it's a documentary, like a TV show documentary thing.
Yeah, it felt like a docuseries, but it basically felt like a little mini docuseries kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I love documentaries. Like, that's like my go-to. I must watch. If there's a new documentary,
yeah.
I always watch. Have you seen that one about the cats?
Like the movie Cats? Or
No. There's one called Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh, that's true. I need to watch that one. That's a scientific fact.
It's so supposedly I was told about this. I've been wanting to watch it, but I also feel like it'd weird me out a little bit. So apparently this one's about this guy who would, like, I guess, be really shitty to cats, and he would record it and put it online. And through the power of the internet, yeah, like I think he would kill cats or something. Something.
Oh no!
But through the power of the internet and thousands of people dissecting this guy's footage, they found him. They found where he lived, who he was, and they reported him to the police.
Oh, I think I did see that. It was like he ended up being like some kind of serial killer. That guy?
I think so. I don't know. He could be a serial killer.
Yeah. No, I saw something like that. I like to watch like the murder mystery ones.
Yes.
And like the story, like who was this murderer and how did he become that?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one, and he was like he was all into himself, and he was like a model. He wanted to be a model, and he wouldn't get the attention that he wanted. So then he started killing cats. Yeah, and they did the same thing. They found him. This like PETA kind of group went and hunted him down, and they found him. And
maybe it's that guy. It could be that guy.
Maybe I gotta look that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think.
I should watch
Don't
it.
fuck with cats. I'm not a big cat fan myself, but yeah, don't fuck with cats is a real thing because cats will fuck you up, man.
I've never messed with a cat, so I don't think I have any.
Scientific fact that if a cat could, they would kill you like a lion would. They would just.
They're like small.
They just
lions.
can't. That must be so frustrating to be a little tiny thing that could or should be able to kill you. But it can't, and it's just scratch the shit at you and poop in your shoes.
Do you think if you were a cat and you ran into a lion, that you would be best friends with the lion? Like, you're the little cat.
Oh yeah, instantly adopted. I'd be forever baby lion.
But you'd always be small.
Yeah, I mean that's why you hang out with the big lions. It's either that or get eaten. If I'm in that situation, I'm not in a zoo. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get eaten. So I'm just gonna hang out with the big cats.
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
If you would have to fight one horse-sized lion, or would you rather fight 100 duck-sized lions?
One horse-sized lion or 100 duck-sized lions.
Yeah.
Ooh. So the one horse, that's a giant-ass lion.
It's one lion, though.
A lion already on its own is freaking massive.
Yeah.
And now you're going to make it horse-sized?
Yeah.
No. What, do I have weapons? Like, just my hands?
Sure. And maybe you can have a knife.
One knife. That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Yeah, you'd have. That's a knife. Yeah, that one.
Or 100. I would take the 100.
The 100 lions?
The 100 duck-sized ones.
That's 100 lions. There's 100 of them.
But it's like cats. It's like having 100 cats. Would I fight 100 cats or 100 giant lions? I would pick the 100 tiny little cats.
I don't know if I pick the lions, the little ones. I might pick the one big one.
And just see if you just one fight instead of 100 fights?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I think I'd get
that's a hard
tired.
one.
I think I'd get tired if it was the other one.
You get tired.
I'd get tired. It's 100 lions.
I don't know, man. I take the little ones. That's my opinion.
No, you're crazy.
I'm sticking to it.
You're
I'm sticking to it on that one.
You're ridiculous. Okay, going back to topic.
Yeah.
Today
What's this podcast about?
It's about lions.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I wanted to talk about with you. We both saw the Kevin Hart documentary. Going back to this, we both saw it.
Yep.
Right? We both finished it. I finished it today. It's like what, 6 episodes long?
6 episodes, roughly about 35 minutes per episode. Yeah.
And I just popped this on just because it talked about like, I didn't know the extent of like all of his story, his life.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't know the extent of what went on. Like, I had heard about some of the stuff. Like, I had heard about the tweets that he made in the past, and like the homophobic or quote unquote homophobic tweets, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And the content he had made about his son being gay and how he's afraid of that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I had also heard about I guess like the scandal he had with some other lady that he cheated on his lady with.
The cheating scandal. We've had kind of 2 of them, sort of.
His
first marriage that ended.
Yeah.
And then there was like a weird limbo zone, and he met his now current wife. And then the second one he had when he had that stay out in Vegas.
Well, okay. And then
There's 2 kind of relationship scandals that he's had.
I didn't even know about that. I don't know. It was crazy. Regardless, though, I did want to talk about how watching that whole thing, I still left with a form of like inspiration. Like, I felt motivated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just watching his work ethic. And I think us starting this type of stuff, like creating, like content like podcasts and like videos and all of that. Like, I consume those things on a daily basis. And I don't, now that you're like making them, like I never really thought about how much work actually went in to making those kinds of things.
A lot.
Like this, like working on these podcasts is editing them. Like I never realized how much time I was putting into the like editing process.
You never find out how tired you are listening to your own voice than editing your own podcast.
Yeah. And then I'm going there editing, and I just said like for the 50th time, and I was about to do it right now. You see what I was? And I was about to lose my mind. I said, why? Just why am I doing this to myself? Why do I sound like this? Why?
For sure.
Oh my God. But the amount of hours that you like put into just creating something like this, it's really insane, I guess you could say. But I mean, if you're having fun and you love it, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like something you enjoy doing. Yeah. For sure.
And I think a lot of the work ethic that Kevin Hart has, and despite all of his like failures or maybe setbacks, just the amount of perseverance that he had doing through that whole thing was, to me, was like insane.
Yeah, his work ethic. So I really like this little docuseries that he put out for the one thing was like no one talked about his perspective of going through all these things. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just one day we're just chilling, playing Xbox, and then all of a sudden there's this guy that comes out on every freaking movie. Yeah. Kevin Hart, Jumanji, and then his own comedy series, and all these little shows that he came out on. We didn't really know who he was, you know? I didn't know, but no backstory ever came to me other than seeing this little docuseries that he put out. And like you said, his work ethic alone is like, it is super motivating. I did not know how many hours he put in to get to where he's at. I did not know that he was like some struggling comedian in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know that he was born in Philadelphia and grew up in a single parent household, and his brother was going through issues and his father was going through drugs, and you don't really know this stuff. You just see him at his top game. Yeah. So you don't, and it's, at some point, honestly, I was like, oh, another movie with Kevin Hart? Like, are you serious? Like, what else is he going to come out on? Is he going to come out in Jumanji? And then, boom, Jumanji drops. And he's in there. So, looking at him that way and now saying, like, hey, man, this guy has, like, worked his ass off to get to where he's at. Nothing but respect to the dude. And yeah, he motivated me because, we're in like a super low end kind of deal that we're starting with the podcast and Twitch and YouTube. And it makes me want to like go hunt down more. Like if he could do it, like what's stopping us?
Exactly.
So, that was super cool, man. The adversity he went through, a lot of people would have given up, and it's cool to see, him persevere through that stuff.
Definitely. I feel like there's lots of times where I think creating stuff, it kind of gets like, for me, I think I hit like a point of just, I don't want to do this anymore. This is dumb. Because I used to do a bunch of like, both of us, we both used to do like a whole bunch of, we used to make videos all the time. We used to like, we were in a band together. We did all this crap, right?
Make music. We did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we did all kinds of stuff. And I think it came to a point where it was like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. At least for me. I was
no, I hit that point definitely.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of just like it's draining, but I think coming back to it with maybe like a refresher, like a fresh set of eyes or something, maybe just kind of like reinvigorates that, and that need to create's just still there, and it's always been there. It's just kind of been downplayed a bit. But now that there's new outlets and new avenues for us to adventure in, and the cost of entry is like really, really small. Like you don't even need to have a lot. Like you can start a YouTube channel with your freaking iPhone now. You can record stuff on your iPhone. Like it's ridiculous.
iPhones are expensive, but yeah, relative to like what it used to be, like you had to have your own whole production studio and only they could do it. And now everybody's got their own in their pocket. So for the people that have that little passion to do it, it's more than available. That's not the obstacle in your way.
I think the obstacle in the way is primarily just going out and doing it, and then just sticking to it and making this like consistent, like schedule for yourself. And I think that's like maybe the hardest part to overcome, is just sit down and actually do it. Because I think I've talked about streaming on Twitch for maybe like a year, and then it's just like all of a sudden I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and then I just started doing it.
Initially, I didn't know that I could. I didn't know what goes into streaming and all that. I figured it was some top level thing that I could never achieve with all I play on a PS4 and I got a laptop and I have 3 kids and, I didn't think it was something that I could. I looked into it some. You showed it to me for sure. And hey, man, it's a possibility. Like you said earlier, I think both of us are like, we're creative people.
Yeah.
We have that, we want to put our creativeness into something. And it's cool to know that the resources is not what's in the way. It's just, hey, like you said, make the time, commit yourself to something and do it. The sky's the limit,
It's like going to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym.
Nope. I got to pay someone to get sweaty. That's weird.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do that. I have to go to the gym and get swole. Are you serious? I can't just take a pill. Dude, I don't know. Like it's just a matter of doing it for sure. You could, or you could just do steroids.
There you go.
But then your wiener shrinks.
So they say. Maybe. They say.
At least
I haven't tried it out yet.
But dude, yeah, I mean, his life story is just really, really, it's incredible, and like all the amount of things that he has going on, like at a continuous time, I think is ridiculous.
Did you know that he had his own like production company?
I figured, okay, so I saw Night School, which was part of the thing that he was talking about during that time frame. That's when he was filming.
Heartbeat Productions.
Yeah, I had seen that on that movie because I went to go see it, and I assumed that was that, but I never assumed that he had. I didn't even know he had a show on Comedy Central.
Just for Laughs?
Yeah, no. What the heck was it called? The Heart of the City or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he had that. I didn't know that was real. Laugh Out Loud Network. I've seen the YouTube channel because I really like the Cold as Balls show. Have you seen that?
No, I didn't even know he had these things, man, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew Night School was out, but I figured it was just some other,
Kevin
Hollywood,
Hart movie.
It's just some other Kevin Hart movie. I didn't realize that it was him that's making this.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of stuff that he's making, and then he like brings his friends on board, and then his friends are creating stuff too.
They got, what are they called? The Plastic Cup Boys?
Yeah, Plastic Cup Boys. That's a
cool
dope name. That's right. That's a dope name.
That's a dope name. Yeah, I don't know who thought of that, but pay that guy. Pay him.
No, but yeah, I mean, even that, I didn't even know he had like Sirius XM. I didn't even know he had his own show on Sirius
His own
XM.
podcast,
Yeah,
right?
a podcast on Sirius XM with his Plastic
He
Cup Boys.
He has his hands in so much stuff. It's hard to fathom that he has the time, and it goes to show his dedication to his passion, which is comedy. And,
Yeah.
And content creating.
Mhm.
I had no idea. I thought he was just the bunny in
Secret Pet Life of
Secret
Pets.
Pet Life. Yeah. I just thought he was that bunny, and then I was like, oh god, here's another Kevin Hart movie. But it did open my eyes a lot to the amount of work ethic that guy has.
Yeah, and he has like what, 3 kids?
Yeah, he has 3 kids. He has a good relationship with his current wife, and he has a solid relationship with his ex-wife. Like, to juggle all that, like, that's me, right? Like, I'm a father of 3 kids, a full-time job, but I do have this passion in content creating. So, like, my wife has her own podcast, and I just thought I would be the guy in the background editing her videos on YouTube, because I do love that stuff. I went to college for film and production. So, I thought I was going to be the dude in the background doing it. And to see, like, Kevin Hart's out there, he's a father of 3, he's gone through all these struggles and all this and that. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this, right?
Yeah, it's like just so motivating. Like, I think for me, I've always wanted to be in like different roles, in terms of my job in the future, I guess, which is now. The future's now. We're here.
The future is now.
We're here. We were 116 and now we're going to be 28.
Dang,
which is ridiculous.
Don't remind me.
It's crazy.
Can you not remind me?
No, I'm reminding you.
The 90s was just 10 years ago, I promise.
But I've always wanted to be that. I always wanted to do, like, I want to go make videos. I want to go host something. I want to go do this. I want to do X, Y, Z, right? I never wanted to just sit down and do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that my personality in terms of how like those types of things, I've always just been like ADD about it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, because I feel like I get bored really quick. Once I guess you could say, like, mastered it, quote unquote, mastered it.
Mastered boredom?
No, not boredom.
Okay.
But like, maybe like, for example, okay, so I used to work at GameStop. I worked at GameStop for like 6 years, for those of you who don't know.
Oh yeah.
Who don't know me. But I was a store manager, and there was a point when I was a store manager that, honestly, like, my store was doing really, really well.
Cool, man.
Like, we did really well. We made President's Club back-to-back 2 years in a row.
Hell yeah.
So, like, we were successful. But there comes a point to where it's like, okay, what's next? What can I do? Like, what else am I striving for if I've already reached, like, this level of success and I'm maintaining this level of success? There's no... I don't know. There's no, like, maybe adversity, or there's no like, what obstacle am I going to overcome now to get to where I want to be? Like, what's next? What's the next step? And my boss, I was thankful for my boss, because he saw that I was getting bored,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me more things to do in terms of, like, okay, grow towards this direction. Go help out this store in this other area. Go over here. Okay, now we're going to move you to this store, and you're going to, bring that store up. And I'm always one to take on a challenge, and I always like being challenged. And when it comes to a point where it's like, okay, I think I've figured this out and I know what I'm supposed to do, it gets boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of feel like you hit that plateau where you're just like, well, okay, it was cool that struggle bus was cool, and I grinded, and then I got there, and then you just kind of, you get past the clouds, and you're just like, oh, okay, now what,
Here. Yeah, we're here.
Yeah,
we
man.
made it.
And I think a lot of people hit that, in life, once you that struggle bus, we work so hard to get through the struggle because we want to get to that top of that mountain. But when we finally get there, a lot of people just get there and they're like, well, okay, I made it here. And that's where you kind of hit that plateau, and that's where that boredom comes into, where you're just like, well, now what? I did all this, and now what?
Yeah, and I think with Kevin Hart especially, the way that he tackles that, he's always going for the next thing. Yeah. He's like, okay, well, we never made a movie under our own banner, so now we're going to make a movie under our own banner.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to go write some more stand-up. I think stand-up, the whole stand-up world to me is a little weird, because you have people like comics, right? Like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Joe Rogan, all these guys, and they're all over here still doing little comedy clubs,
Yeah.
right, and working out their material in front of everybody for a special that's going to air in, I don't know, let's say like a year and a half or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just on the road doing these little tiny tours, working out their material, and then they do a special on it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's just so crazy. It's weird. It's a weird world.
The comedy club, like the comedian, that club of comedians, I found out that they're actually pretty tight knit, right? They're like and it's a very hard skill and job to do. So I guess they kind of bond together. But other than like pop stars like Katy Perry and all them, they do that thing where they, even how big they are, they go to these little comedy clubs, these little venues, and do that thing. I think that's super cool. I didn't know that about the comedy realm of that's, that you don't play in front of, or you don't, do stand up in front of 20,000 people every day. That's not, Katy Perry will never go to a little hole in the wall place and just, sing Paper Bag Song or whatever it is.
The Foo Fighters do, though.
Foo Fighters do.
But I think they do it just more for fun, because I don't feel like they hash out new material at those.
That's a rock crowd too, The rock crowd starts in these little venues, and once you make it past there, I don't know. From us being, we were musicians back in the day, or still are, and I still dabble in music, as do you. That's where we started, right? In the Red Eye Fly in Austin, Texas. Those
are good times. That place is still there.
By the way, there. I know. I still have the photo of our name up there. And then I have the ticket to our Battle of the Bands. Anyway, that's in the past, right? But the comedy club tour, that comedian realm, I think it's ingrained in them that's where they started, in these little small venues. So they'll always go back to that, and I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like the comedy life, or the comedian life, is just always a grind. It's always a grind getting to that one special that you want to do, or making sure that this joke lands the way you want it to land, and everything's like delivered properly. Yeah. And it's just always like, you're always consistently working and evolving and working and evolving.
So the Foo Fighters can play the same song, Learn to Fly, for the next 30 years. They could play that song, right? But Kevin Hart can't tell the same joke 30 years in a row. Just the same I'm true. Short joke and I'm tiny and they pick me up. He can't tell that joke over and over, because jokes get stale a lot quicker than music does, right? So
that's kind of weird,
right? And it's cool that you have to have a super creative mind to be a comedian, constantly, to have a long career at least. Because you can't tell the same joke for the next 30 years. It'll stale out. Yeah,
like writing, just the process of writing and just figuring everything out, every little detail, the way you want to tell it. And like, I think the cool thing with comedy, though, is the ability to just like how universal it is in terms of like when he was talking about whatever he fucked up and he did this, and he, like, this whole series was about his fuck ups along the way. From when did it start? Like 2009,
I think.
9, yeah. Like I think from 2009 up until 2 years ago, because we're 2020 now, which is crazy. But in 2018, when all that stuff happened with his Twitter, like the whole thing was about him fucking up, and then him being able to go on stage, own it, and put it out there for the world, and everybody can relate to those kind of things. And I think that's what makes him like really unique in terms compared to like other people and other artists and stuff like that. Is like he's very I mean, I guess like he learns exactly from his past, and he's very I feel like transparent about it. You know what I mean? Like he's not really like hiding anything. He's like, yeah, I did it, and I'm sorry, and I fucked up, and this. Yeah,
I definitely liked his mantra about, hey, to learn from your mistakes, right? Not, don't cower in the corner because of them. Obviously, the mistakes was a big thing with this little docuseries that he put out. But I like that it was his perspective of it. It wasn't some narrator saying, and then in 2010 he fucked up, right? And this is how we overcame it. And this is what it was him. Like we got to see the behind the scenes that we didn't get from the tabloids. And obviously he's run into a lot of different adversity, the spotlight kind, obviously the way he grew up and his relationship with his dad. Those are the things that happen behind the scenes that we never would have known without this little series. The ones that happen in the spotlight, we think we know what happened. We think we know how it went down and how he responded. But this docuseries really showed us that, hey, people go through it differently. And I liked his mantra that, hey, you learn from a mistake and you move forward. Obviously, he had a few big spotlight mistakes. The one where the confusion with he filed for divorce and now he's with this girl.
That one I didn't see. I had known that he had filed for divorce. I think I've watched every single one of his specials that's come out.
So have I.
Because I think when they went that recap, I feel like I'd seen them all. They all, like, the jokes that he said, particularly, like, I was like, oh, I remember that. But I remember the one where he's like, oh, I'm divorced now, where I was divorced, or something like that. And I never thought of him. I never thought that he cheated on his wife, but I guess that was like a thing that he had to talk about.
Well, that was the headline, that's what the TMZ tabloids say and all this and that. And instead of, the only platform that he has is through his comedy, Luckily, he has a packed house at, whatever arena he goes to tell his story. But we only get it through the tabloids and through his comedy. So it's kind of hard to get the full message as far as what the hell is really happening. And then he had the second issue where he did end up really cheating on his current wife. And once again, all we saw was the tabloids, this and that. And you saw a couple of the scenes where she was walking in the street, either had his show or shopping. But there's the paparazzi, yelling at her like, hey, hey, have you talked to Kevin Hart? Hey, did you know the girl that he cheated on you with? Like, and that can get,
I think that's super, like, ugly.
That's the dark side of fame, man.
Just that whole, I know, dude, it kind of sucks. Just overall, like, I don't know. It's so insane, like, how things like that, like, stick.
Yeah. Everything's, like, under a microscope. Every little thing. And I respect him. A lot of people kind of just curl into a ball and do their apology tours. And, I know my wife watches this show about wrestlers, and John Cena and his girlfriend went through an issue or whatever, and it was all over the tabloids, and John Cena handled it by literally going onto the news and asking his wife for forgiveness on the news, right? So everything happened in the tabloids, and that's all we see, man.
Yeah, we only see one part of it, and it's usually just, like, the super rumory, ugly part of it. And then, it was even crazier that I thought, what that really, like, took me back was, like, his friend was the one who was extorting him for money.
Oh man, so
that was insane.
A lot. It just goes to show that this stuff, this backstabbing friends and all this and that happens to them too. It's but it's hard normal people. It's hard to envision them as normal people, right? They're superstars every day. You see the perfect photo of them, and they're living these lavish lives, and it looks like fun. And you don't see the grind that went behind it. You don't see the troubles that it brings. And you definitely don't see the backstabbing friends every day that he went through. But that was crazy. Yeah. And someone within his inner circle tried extorting him via this video that he took of Kevin Hart making, obviously, a huge mistake in Vegas,
Do you think... Well, did they ever finalize that? Was that case finalized? Because they were still in the case during the filming of that series.
They had subtitle, and it said the charges were dropped.
He dropped him?
Let me see. No, that they were dropped by the prosecutor's office because there wasn't enough evidence.
Dang.
Kevin Hart, extortion.
I was making food during that time, so I was like, I was off and on reading the subtitles, trying to catch what I could.
Yeah, so if this loads up real quick, it says Kevin Hart's, let me see, a felony extortion charge against actor-comedian Kevin Hart's former friend he still faces some felony charges for other crimes. They dismissed the first count of extortion by letter because there wasn't enough evidence. It didn't fit the bill for extortion according to whoever was trying to put the charges on him. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, man, the charges didn't drop, and that's what Kevin Hart was saying throughout that. Like, it's hard to imagine your best friend
Yeah.
that he really did this. For one, he was still. I like Kevin Hart on this moment because he still gave. It was hard for him to blame his friend, and he was talking in allegedlys and all this. So
Yeah.
it
He
was
wasn't like that fucker. He
yeah,
did it. It
and it
was
really
like,
showed a human side of him. That real personal side that that was his friend, and it really hurt him to see his friend in that light.
yeah, for sure. It I don't know, man. This whole docuseries was just, I think it was really well done, and I like the time that it came out in, because I guess we're past all of the other stuff that he's done, and it's not so much news anymore, but it's just a new perspective, and what he was trying to get across
Mm-hmm.
just
So yeah,
came out
he
really clearly.
he didn't like drop this like right after the scandals and everything, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh no, here's my proof. So it was good timing, I think. Like everything is aired out. He went through it, and now it's time to share his side of the story. So I did really like it. I did read. I was looking through on some mixed reviews though. Some people still weren't happy with the way that the spotlight was shown, as far as his not being just the way that they showed the way that the situation was handled when he cheated on his wife, right? So, for example, there's a couple of tweets here. One of them says, "It's sad that Aniko Hart, which is his wife, could not envision a scenario where Kevin Hart grew as a person in loving and kind way that did not come at her expense. Her bar is so low." And then I don't know what Kevin Hart was trying to prove in the documentary, but it definitely did not put him in a better light. They basically just they don't agree with the one thing that was the pinnacle of what this docuseries was about. Was I grow through these mistakes, and no person is perfect, and to assume that you can be perfect is a lie, because it's through imperfection that you become that perfect person. So yeah, it's some people, it has mixed reviews. Obviously, there's people that hold that grudge still.
I don't know if the whole point of him showing the part, or including the part where he cheated on his wife, was to make him look good in any way.
I didn't get that vibe.
Yeah, I didn't either. Like, I didn't feel like he was trying to save face and just, say, "Oh yeah, I cheated on my wife, but I'm a better person now." Like, I mean, he could grow, he can grow from those mistakes, but that doesn't mean, like, that's not something that we as the viewer or the audience is gonna see. That's something that him and his wife are gonna, or his wife is gonna see. You know what I mean? Like, we're not intimate with Kevin Hart. You know what I mean?
Nowhere
Like, that's
near.
not no, we're not in that situation. We're just a third party looking in, and the only person who's gonna see that true growth is gonna be her. And I mean, you can't just shit on her for being like, for saying like, "Oh, it's made him a better person," because it could in fact have made him a better person.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that situation, I guess, had to have happened in order for him to do that. You can't shit on her, I guess, for her point of view. If that's her point of view, like, that's her point of view.
Yeah.
I guess you can have opinion on it, but
And obviously people are always gonna have their opinions about what's right in their eyes, and so you can't get away with it. There's always gonna be people with opposite opinions of you, and in this day and age,
can't please everybody.
In this day and age, a lot of people voice their opinions more than when you and I grew up. Back in the day, if you had beef with somebody, you had to go roll up to his neighborhood and tell them you had beef with them. Now we have the Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a million different resources to go put your opinion out, and if somebody agrees with you, then it gets retweeted and it gets shared, and before you know it, it feels like that's everybody's opinion. So opinions are here. We're a new day of coming up with your own kind of idea of what you think about it. It's different than just your inner circle. There's a lot of different opinions that are brought to the table now.
I think it's tough because with so much information now, it's really hard to grasp what is accurate and correct versus what's exaggerated and just used for like riling people up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really, really hard to discern what the truth is. And like looking at news online is almost impossible now.
Yeah.
You need to go to at least 3 different networks
Yep.
just to find like a normal, like, okay,
here's the truth.
let me just fact check everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
So
it.
you go to
finally.
CNN and everything's terrible, and you go to Fox and everything's great, and you got to find that middle ground of what your opinion is. If you rely on one source, then your opinion is gonna be biased.
Have you seen that the thing David Letterman talked to Obama?
No.
On that? No. Okay, so David Letterman has like a show on Netflix. It's called My Guest Needs No Introduction or something like that. He did one with Obama, and there was I guess like a topic they were discussing, and it was news related, but pretty much they were saying like you can go to they did like a study on Google, a Google search, right? And one person was like right in the middle, and then one person was on the left, and the other person was on the right. And so when you typed in something, right, I think for the example they used, it was about Iran or something like that, or a fight or a war. And pretty much like your Google feed or your Google search was reinforcing the beliefs that you have currently. And it's not, there's not enough diversity into the search. So like the person in the middle is going to always get something in the middle. The person on the left is going to get something that's super left. The person on the right is going to get something that's super right. How that's not really like creating any type of challenge of ideas.
Yeah, like some real dialogue. Like, here, I had this opinion, or I want to look into it more. And I think the goal for them is to give you. I don't know. I don't think like Google's intentions are to like be pushing one narrative or the other. I think it's something with the algorithm. Just like when you search for dog treats. Now that I said dog treats, watch everything on my Google search and everything on my ads is gonna be dog toys and dog treats.
Dog treats.
But I just think that the way the algorithm is built is it wants to keep you on their site. And if you're constantly searching for things that are going to keep you on that site longer, then it's going to show you more of that. If you're constantly typing in, Trump good, then it's going to feed you that stuff. If you type in Trump bad, it's going to feed you that stuff.
Yeah.
But it puts you in a vacuum chamber of opinion. So that way even the people that saw this docuseries and saw his opinion, when they go into Google search or they want to type in and they want to find out more about the Kevin Hart deal, they're going to get stuck in that loop of the people that agree with them. And if they had already thought that he was a bad dude, when they go look for outside opinion, they're going to see the thing that agrees with them the most, and they're going to continue to feed that and not change their mind, which really stinks, I think.
Yeah, I think with I guess currently, I mean, like college, I think is there. That's meant. I think it's meant to make you uncomfortable, I guess, or not uncomfortable, but maybe just more open to the ideas of others.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's meant there. College is meant to challenge you because that's the time where you're supposed to be like growing into your own and getting other people's points of view and just continuing to like go into your adulthood and figure your own shit out. But I don't know, because I hear people talk about like safe spaces and things like that, and I don't. Well, first of all, I've never seen them. All right, I don't have safe space. I don't know where that is. Second of all, like how prevalent are they? You know what I mean? I've been out of the game for like the college game for so long now. I think I don't even realize if there is a safe space or who I need to talk to or where I need to,
Yeah, no, and I don't think it's as big as what the media or what it's being shown to you. I think it's a small. I think they're there for sure, but I think it's so small. But it was so headline worthy that it felt like it was everywhere. It felt like it was a big safe spaces are taking over the world, But really, there's like one safe space, and it was just an idea from some counselor. And they tried it out for one summer or one semester, and then they never did it again. But it feels like it's constantly there, right?
I feel like I also have been watching. There was another movie I watched. I forgot what it was called. I I forgot what it was called, but the kids, it dealt with like there was kids in elementary school and they had like a bully free zone or something like that, and like they couldn't get bullied at the cafeteria. And I was like, I didn't. We also did not have that. And I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, I got bullied a lot.
It's just, I don't know. All this stuff's like, it's weird. It's weird everybody being so connected, because there's more eyes on everything, and then two, it's a lot of like everybody's wanting to like appease everybody, which is an impossible task in and of itself. Someone's gonna get upset about something versus another person, and
and
it just is what it is.
It's so easy to put the spotlight on the small group that are upset with it, right? So it's just like you said earlier, you got to go to 3 sources and you need to come up with your own opinion. If you feel like you're stuck in this place where everybody agrees with you, you might want to look somewhere else to see where the other opinions are and get, and then still come out with your opinion at the end of the day. But for sure, it's just it's a culture that we're in. And I think they even alluded to it during the Kevin Hart docuseries, which is the outrage culture. I think that's what they called it. Where we're
in a society with outrage, like people will get mad over something.
Yeah.
And then now you're getting canceled is the thing.
Yeah, cancel culture is what they call it too now. So basically, if someone doesn't agree with not even the things that you do now, but the things that you have done in the past, then there's an outrage that comes to it, and then the social media spotlight goes in. It feels like a bigger deal than it was, and it can and it becomes a big deal. So the big one that he ran into was when he finally was at the pinnacle of where he should be, and he was gonna get to the Oscars. He was gonna be hosting the Oscars. So when I heard of that, I was like, wow, this guy really made it. But they dug up tweets that he did from what, 9 years earlier.
Yeah, it was like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, and like I haven't even had enough time. I haven't even had 9 years to grow, right, from leaving high school, or almost. As a matter of fact, it's just been 10 years now. Damn, getting old.
Yeah.
Right, but if you met me in high school and you met me today, it's 2 different people. For one, I got a cool mustache now. I love my mustache. Right. And my opinions have fluxed, right? I've gone through that adulting where you kind of change the way that you think, right?
You see things.
Before I was just party, and hang out with the boys, and now I'm a family man kind of thing. And it's crazy that they don't take that into account. And they immediately went out of outrage on his tweets that he had, or one joke in specific about him not wanting his son to be gay. So,
do you think? Okay, well, let me pose this question to you. Do you think that people shouldn't be held accountable for the things they've done in their past? Or do you think it just lives in the past because it's on social media and everything lives on the internet now? Like, there's no really. I mean, if you're putting that type of, I don't know, vibe or personality out there, like that's just gonna live out there, and you shouldn't be held accountable for it at all. Or because honestly, like when he was talking about it, and when he said like he had already apologized for it previous, I mean, I wasn't even big on internet or Twitter or anything like back then.
Yeah, no.
I was still like, whatever, I don't care. But now I'm more on, I think, social media, just because it's easier way to get some form of like news, and like you hear new things coming out. But with that being said, like, do you think that him not being accounted for, like, he should be accounted for stuff that he said in the past currently? Because I think his publicist is who she was. I don't know if it was, but she brought up a good point, or a really good point, and was that people who don't know who he is are only seeing that
the headlines
right
stuff,
now,
right?
Yeah, they're only seeing like Kevin Hart homophobic, like that's all they're seeing, and and then when they look at it further online, it's him not apologizing, refusing to apologize, or him saying, I've already apologized for this. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to, people see the headlines and they run with it rampant, crazy, right? The question you asked was, do I think that he should be held accountable for the things that he's done in the past, or should a person in general? I hate seeing it. Everything is black and white, right? I hate everything. I hate it being right or wrong. Realistically, there's a big old block of gray in between those two sides. And that's where that outrage culture kind of like thrives in, is that there's one side or the other. There is no middle ground, right? So for something like, you have to look into it further, man. He's a comedian. Look at all the comedians and jokes. The jokes are on the edge kind of things,
They've from back then, like seeing old like comedy specials and stuff back then. There was always a lot of stuff that you can't do now. Like even like movies like White Chicks.
Yeah, you can't do White Chicks today. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't feel like you could.
So culture changes for one. So obviously now you shouldn't make those kinds of jokes. We're more woke, as someone would say, right? But you have to look at that like, dang, okay, that was 9 years ago. What has he done since?
Yeah.
He's in a career path that makes him, or not makes him, but where you have to be risky, right? Risque kind of thing in your content.
Yeah.
It was an old joke 10 years ago. Who is he today? And I get like, if it was a simple like, hey, Kevin Hart said this and it's kind of messed up, man. What do you got to say about that? And he would say, hey, that was a long time ago, man. I'm a completely different person. My opinions have changed. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It should have been left at that. Honestly, if it was me, let's say I was a gay person and I read that tweet from 10 years ago, I don't know why I'm digging into 10 years worth of tweets, but it's a big gray block, man, and you can't just be on one side, or it was right or it was wrong. That's just my opinion. There's a big gray block. You have to look into the person, what he's done now. He has his board members, two of them were gay, right?
Yeah.
Like, clearly, he's not that person that the headlines want to make him out to.
The way that the docuseries ended, with him addressing the fact that it was a moment for him to bring light onto another part of it, like onto the violence part of it, how there should be no violence brought upon anybody else, I think was a pretty solid point.
I agree with that.
In that moment, it was just, I think for him, it was frustration, and anger, maybe not anger, but more frustration, because he had felt that he had already done what he had to do, and there was no reason for him to come back and revisit and make amends again for something that he already did.
Yeah, and so I agree with that. What he should have done, right? Hindsight 2020, right? Year 2020. What's up, right? Hindsight's 2020. And yeah, should he have handled it differently? Like, of course. Like, there's everyday situations that I wish I handled differently. Can we go back in time and fix those things? Like, no. Like, realistically, no, we can't fix those things. In the moment, I could imagine if I was sitting at the pinnacle of my career and I hit this huge accomplishment and got, was about to be the what's it called, the announcer for the Grammys, was it?
The host for the
host Oscars? For the Oscars. I'm way off. All right. If I was gonna be the host for the Oscars and I hit this big milestone in my career, and someone goes into my 9 years back into my Twitter search and brings this up, I could imagine how someone would feel attacked, right? Like, man, what? Like, oh my God. And then they want you to say this, and they want you to apologize, and like, okay, hey, look, guys, I didn't, that was a long time ago. I changed. Well, they want you to say that, and then his mantra is, hey, learn from it and drive on. That's what he does, and I saw his point of view, but he did say, hey, man, I should have handled this differently. Like, I should have just said this, and that probably would have made everybody happy. But who knows? He might have said exactly that, and they wouldn't have been happy. So realistically, you just got to go with your guns. He clearly did. He doesn't hate homosexuals, right? A person with a sane mind saw that he did not hate, anybody. He has no hate in his heart. He was telling a joke from a long time ago in a different culture day, and he's gone 10 years straight with no big issues, no issues with that. He's got gay people on his board of directors, like drop it, kind of thing. And I understand where at that moment what he did and how he was like, I'm not gonna go on some apology tour. I am not just gonna go around and say sorry, forgive me, because that's not who he was. But
yeah,
everybody has everyday situations that we should have handled differently.
I think always at the end of the day, you're gonna end up. You always make a decision, and whether that decision's the right or wrong one, you don't really find out until it's over.
Way later.
Like, yeah. So I mean, it is for him. It is what it is. He made his decision. He stuck with it, and like, I wouldn't say I don't speak for him, like, obviously,
yeah.
Right? But like, I wouldn't say he regrets it. But I think looking at it now from another perspective, and like everything's settled, I guess the dust is settled. Looking at it, I feel like he probably feels a little bad maybe about how he handled the whole thing. He's growing from it, and it's just like a constant battle. I think just a constant thing we do as humans is we're always trying to grow and learn from the past. And I think more and more, like, as things are becoming more I don't know, digital, or everything's like binary, right? 0 and 1s. Yep. Like it's harder to make those connections than with other people than what we're used to. I don't know if that made any sense at all. It could have sounded like a bunch of nonsense, but yeah.
Science.
Did you know Jesse didn't say bitch? Where he's like, yeah, science, bitch. Have you seen that meme?
He never said science, bitch?
No, he said, yeah, science. He didn't even say bitch.
He's never said it in the whole thing.
No. I rewatched it a long time ago. Or not a long time ago, a few months ago.
In the entire series, he does not say, yeah, science, bitch.
No.
I don't believe you.
Or at least in that one scene. That one scene, he never said, yeah, science, bitch. He just said, yeah, science, and that's it.
Okay. I still don't believe you, but...
I mean, he could have said, yeah, science, bitch, but I don't think
we can do a whole podcast on the Mandela effect.
What's the Mandela effect?
That's where you remember something that you are sure as hell that's the way it was, and it turns out it wasn't.
With memories, don't you just like make up stuff?
Okay, so do you? Oh man, this is gonna be an entire podcast. I promise you. Do you remember a movie with Sinbad as a genie called Shazam? In the 90s, we were younger.
Yeah.
Sinbad is a genie, Shazam, right? Do you specifically remember it?
I remember. Wait, hold on, because I remember one with Shaq, and that was Kazam, right?
That's beside the point. Do you remember Sinbad?
I don't.
As a genie in the movie called Shazam. All right. Well, people listening, if you remember it, because I remember it clear as day. I have scenes in my head from when it happened. That movie did not happen, and there's an entire Reddit post of people who clearly remember. Hundreds of thousands of people who clearly, sure as day, remember this same movie. Sinbad, a genie, Shazam. That movie does not exist anywhere in the world. No one can find this movie, but people remember it. Boom, man.
How does it
Mandela effect.
What the hell?
It's real. It's a real thing.
You know what? We could do that. Let's get into that next episode.
Yeah, we'll cut out the whole explanation. Mandela effect. Next episode is happening.
Okay. It's gonna be super interesting. All right, well, I guess we ended that shit off on a very
somber,
deeper note than I wanted it to go out on. But overall, I would really recommend you guys go watch the Docuseries, because I don't think, at least right now, I think that's like a great. If you're looking for something to inspire you, to motivate you to go do what you want and go chase down what you want to do at the end of the day, that's definitely something that you should go watch, because I'm sure as hell motivated.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly
to make moves.
Oh yeah, I agree definitely with that. It's a good motivational piece. Keep the opinions and the way you think of how he handles situations. You know, if you can put those on pause for just a quick second, and you watch him on his perspective and how he grinds and all the different things that he does and how he's still a family man and he gets all this done, you're gonna leave watching those 6 episodes super motivated to go out and accomplish something. I fully recommend watching it, and then if you come out with opinions, you come out with them, but I promise you will leave motivated.
Yeah, hands down. I think this is a great way to just keep on doing it. Like, it doesn't matter if one person hears your podcast or no people hear a podcast. The fact that it's out in the world is what matters. You're making it, and you don't have to make it to be successful as long as you're having fun. You're chasing down whatever you want to chase down. You're doing it for the right reasons. Things will start happening. It might take 4 years. It might take 2 months. You don't know. But just keep on going out there. Keep on doing what you're doing. This is the year. It's a fresh start to the year.
2020,
it's time
baby.
to get things going. 2020, we're here. We made it.
Life's a garden. You got to dig it, you know?
You got
to keep on keeping on.
Oh gosh. Life is not a box of chocolates anymore. Yeah. Now it's a garden.
Garden of roses.
It could be a garden of carrots.
You're right. Speaking of that, go on to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and watch episode 2 where we play a couple of carrots.
Carrots.
I'll leave you at that cliffhanger there. You're curious, aren't you? You really want to know?
Go click.
Go click.
Go click it.
But
well, guys, that's been episode 2
whoop, whoop.
of our let's say episode 2. Episode 2 of our podcast. This is the At Wit's End podcast. We talk about different things, as you can see. Very topical. If you guys have any ideas for topics, leave them down at our YouTube channel in the comments down below. Mad Melvin, you got anything you want to say to the peeps out there?
No, just thanks for listening. Always give us your opinions. We talk about a bunch of different stuff. We try to stay out of the political stuff. We always have fun. We joke around. This is just 2 dudes that live far away from each other, that grew up together, that are really close friends. And we invite you guys into the conversations.
I feel like we might have towed the line on the political talk a little bit today.
A little bit there.
Just towing that line. Just really see what we can get away with.
But no, I mean, obviously these are just our opinions, and we welcome anybody else's as well. So for sure,
we won't talk shit.
Not a lot, at least. No. But yeah, guys. Hey, thanks for listening. Yeah, that's it for me.
I got nothing else. I'll see you guys later on the next one. Remember, our podcast goes out every Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Tuesdays, 2 p.m. And then our YouTube videos go out on Saturdays.
We're working on getting everything on Spotify and on iTunes and whatever the Google Play Store is. This will definitely be uploaded here on YouTube. I'm thinking about doing SoundCloud as well just to do it. So it's another platform we have. And yep, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Later.